So, no one seems to have questioned why this theme hasn't come up yet. But the most popular contemporary and so far fictional type of apocalypse is, of course, zombies.
Okay, I got it.
As you know, when zombie horde is upon you, you need to run. In this challenge, you'll be running back and forth between a board of symbols and your shelter. The symbols on the board are those of health packs and biohazard. Your task is to replicate the board of symbols on your sheets back at your shelter, which is represented by the partitions. Both symbols have 5 different color possibilities. So when replicating the pattern, you need to match both symbol and color. You have plenty of each symbol possibility: glue sticks to glue them down, glue down your answers, and cardboard to cover your work when you are away from your shelter. So that's what this cardboard on top is. You can just put it on top of your sheet. The first person, and we have answer keys, so ask for a check. The first person to successfully replicate the answer key, which has blown over, Alan.
I'm gonna film from there anyway.
You're gonna film from there?
I'm running over you.
Okay, all right. First person to successfully replicate the pattern will win immunity. Go!
Oh, so it's out vertical. Memorization game.
Yeah, it would be hard to remember.
Good job, survivors! Doing well! Melissa's almost got 2 squares complete. Peter, almost 4. Not covering up his answers.
No, he's just left it.
Allie with 3 full squares. 3 full squares for Aditya. Kevin's got a whole assortment of squares here. Looks like he's just doing the sharp ones first. Melissa, still working on 3 squares. Peter, got almost a full board over here. Just 4 squares remaining. Ooh, things are starting to get full over here.
Please be right.
But I think you may have.
Plugin is good.
Maybe I said.
Yeah, I mean, that's my favorite book I'd rather read.
Plugin is good.
Yeah, I've got to be done. I really used to like the book I read when I was on
Plugin is good. Plugin is not perfect.
Give Sean your phone.
I know. It's pretty maddening.
Film me. Aditya's whole puzzle is correct, but he went back for another clue.
Allie wins me. Correct. Yes! Allie wins community.
Aditya had the correct answers, but he didn't ask for a check.
Oh, Aditya.
Yeah, so last tribal, we all had your own individual plans, and you started voting, and then in the middle of voting, someone quit, right? So, Nick, did your plans change from last tribal to this tribal?
They're kind of changing every round, honestly. Like, it's always a new conversation. Like, we see you as a unity, and people tend to have an idea of who the friends are. You know, it's getting faster each time. We need less time to discuss.
Melissa, do you see individual people starting to prop up as like different kinds of threats, like a physical threat? Some people are a social threat. Do you see like people starting to really be like, I don't know if I can go to the end with this person?
Absolutely. I mean, I think over time we start to see people as threats, and then maybe they might not be a threat anymore, and then they'll do something and they're a threat again. So I think it's up and down with that. But I think, you know, if you see someone as a threat, why would you keep them? Like, especially if they're in your alliance, you know, why would you keep them?
Peter, we're speaking of alliances, but as far as I can tell, it doesn't seem like you guys have. It seems like the votes are flopping. People are in alliances are getting voted out. Is there really like a core alliance?
Not necessarily. Maybe there is, but it's hard to read everybody and what they're thinking. And I think like once people got to the individual rounds, basically, everyone was thinking differently than they did on the team one.
All right. Well, with that, it is time to vote. Melody, you're up. If anyone has a community idol and would like to play one, now would be the time to do so. fine. I'll read the votes. Aditya. Peter. One vote Peter, one vote Aditya. Peter. Two votes Peter, one vote Aditya. Aditya. Two votes Aditya, two votes Peter. Aditya. Seventeenth person voted out the survivor popular. Aditya.
So, Aditya, 17th person voted out.
Yeah.
First thoughts?
I'm pretty surprised I got as far as I did. Yeah, I mean, there are definitely points in the game where I feel like I got too overeager in challenges, or like I should. I was really going after things. I felt like my name was being thrown around. So I feel like, and when it comes to like the individual rounds, you want to not distinguish yourself as much, even though there's an immunity benefit. If you keep trying to go first, then people are just going to target you essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I played it pretty straight as I could. I'd say my mistake was probably basically sort of agreeing to vote with whoever. If someone came up to me and told me to vote for something, I would generally agree with that. So, but typically I just align with Mel, yeah, because we were more allied from the beginning.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. See, was this a surprise that you were voted out at this tribal?
No. I thought it was coming. I thought it was coming a couple of tribals ago actually too. So, it was I felt it was bound to happen at some point. At this point, it's just kind of like it just kind of a shootout round at this point. Yeah. So, yeah.
Who do you think is the biggest? Who would, if the game ended now, who would have your vote to win?
I would say. That's a good one. I'd say Allie's really shown herself to be really, really strong. I mean, she sort of snuck up from behind because she obviously came back in the what do you call it? The recovery challenge.
The redemption.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Good word. She came back in the redemption challenge and she's been sort of slowly winning challenges ever since, especially in these individual rounds. So I'd say her or potentially Melissa as well, since Melissa's been pretty good at kind of playing alliances and to kind of get the vote that she wants. So,
do you think you played any different from last year?
Yeah, I think I understood the point of alliances better last year. I mean, this year I was still just agreeing to vote with what people told me to vote for, but this time I sort of understood the strategy behind it, and I would occasionally make moves like voting for someone to put a little more pressure on them to see if they were to make them more likely to ally in general. So. Yeah.
So in the game right now, to me, it really seems like people were kind of in pairs.
Yeah.
It seemed like you and Melody
were
kind of a pair. It seemed like Melissa and Nick were kind of a pair.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
I'd say Melissa doesn't really seem paired up with anyone. I mean, she was sort of paired up with Eric, but I think she was essentially using that connection for now, but ready to ditch it if she needed to.
Yeah.
But I'd say me, Mel, and obviously Kevin and Allie were paired up.
And is Peter kind of on his own, kind of on the outskirts?
Yeah, ish. Yeah, maybe him and Nick had something, but I don't. It wasn't that strong. So yeah.
Well, I think you played a great game, and sorry to see you go out, but thanks for playing.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
So, this game is called the Mahdi's Dice. So in Islam, there is a savior figure who is said to appear before the end times to rid the world of evil and injustice. This figure is known as the Mahdi. He will judge you on your actions. In this challenge, you will be playing a dice game, which, as it goes on, will eventually force you to lie if you want to stay in the game. But if you're caught, your time in the game will quickly dwindle. Will you get caught in your lies? Will you be caught by the Mahdi? Sean, can go over the rules.
All right, so the way the game works is you each have 4 dice. And at the end of each round, you'll roll your dice in your cup and you'll cover it. And then you can look at them, so only you know the result of your dice, right? Then whoever lost their last bid or whoever refused to start will start, and they will make a bid, basically. And you're basically betting of how much of a type of dice is around the table. So I might say, I'm going to bet there are 3 6s on the table. And it's based on the information that I know and how many of the dice I will have. So then the next person, clockwise, can either call me out and say there's not 3 6s, and then you would lift up your die, lift up your cup, and then we would check with everyone. If there are 3 6s, then you would lose a die. If there aren't, then I would lose a die. The other alternative is that you bid higher. So you could say 4 6s, and then it would go to the next person.
Does that have to be 6s?
No.
Like the same
So
number?
the way the bidding works is you have to increase either the number of dice or the number on the die. So if someone said 2 4s, you could say 2 5s, but you couldn't say 2 3s. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you have to increase one of the numbers.
Peter.
Oh, this thing.
What does this do?
All right.
Okay, he's
Melody will go first.
Okay, I will say I think there are 4 6s.
Okay. 5 6s.
So lift your cup if you call someone.
We all lift our
We all lift it?
Yeah, everyone lifts. So you called them out on 5 6s?
Yeah.
Yes. So let's count the number of 6s.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So you lose a dice.
Yeah, so you lose a die.
Okay.
Bless you.
What's that? That's the one.
No,
Bless you.
that's it. One.
Just so we can see how many dice.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the thing again, right?
Uh,
Or do we? Oh, just
no,
the next
no.
person.
So the person who lost starts it. So
I'm gonna say 3 5s.
So we don't.
I'll say 4 5s. 5 5s.
I'm gonna call you on that.
So 2, 3, 4. There's only 4, right?
2,
Yeah.
3, 4. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's me that takes it
Yep.
out? Okay.
You're up. I've been to the Anthem before, and I'd always been on like
Once.
Yeah, I like the. Yeah, no, we like it a lot. 9:30 Club is also maybe one of the best clubs.
It's 2, that's 3, that's 4. We'll give that 5. Alright, so you lose 1.
That's really late.
Let me call your boss.
That's enough to have a discount.
There are 3 4s.
Wow.
What is this calling everyone? I think she
It's
cracked the
important to
code
note
or
that
something.
half the dice are now left in the game. There's only 10 dice left in the game. So
Dice.
the numbers are getting a lot lower.
I just like the layout. It also looks like no, it's just like this run down building. And then it actually builds into the base.
Say 3 5s.
I was like, what is
4 6s.
It's 1 6, 2 6, 3 6. Only 3 6s.
So it's just this weirdly shaped.
I knew I had
Are there 6?
it. Yeah. But I had the 6, so I was like, maybe. You can also say numbers you don't have. Exactly, exactly. It's
Who
just
goes
such
on?
a-
You?
I have one
I
dice
start?
left.
Yeah.
And then they just hire hard enough to play all the other And I had like Michael Jackson.
1-3.
Also got
Very safe.
Yeah. Got a problem with that?
just like people, right?
3-5.
There is a saxophone player named Cornelius Bumpkin. You guys hear that? Saxophone.
Damn.
Not 3-5s.
But yeah, I figured I needed to see that before.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes. Yeah.
One.
Because the other guy. I'm not.
1-4.
Same 3/4.
3-1.
Well, the reveal is a little different.
Damn, son! Peter is out.
I'm pretty sure they sell it in like a little.
Say those 3 ones.
Yeah, one of my cousins.
I got it.
What was the call?
3 ones. She got them.
Ali with 3 dice, Melody with 2.
It's like so good because the deception is
Stay
like real
one.
handshake and things. Just a roll of the dice. Yeah, no, it's so funny, man.
1/5.
I'll call your bluff. Got it.
I figured you had a 1.
For the 3rd time.
Good job, Alex.
Good job. That was wicked. That was so much fun. I've played it a couple times, but I've always been really bad. So this is the first time I've actually done well.
Well, this is the one time that matters.
Exactly. That's all that matters.
Any questions, Sean? Sure. Last tribal to play idols. Kevin, how big of an effect do you think idols will play in this tribal?
I think idols have kind of faded. I'm not sure whether someone has one, but playing an idol right now would be a gigantic. Should be doing.
Nick, are you worried about idols?
Not really. I feel like they would have been played by now, you know. So.
Peter, was there much idol searching in like the decent amount of time you guys had? Not from you? This is kind of the point in the game where you start relying on alliances less and start thinking about who you can really beat in the end. Allie, has your mindset changed at all on who you're trying to hold out?
No, not really. I mean, there've been like some flip-flops and stuff, but we seem to have solid. I'm hoping that we can. If not, then I'm going to try to, and that happens.
Yeah, well, at least if you're being much bigger, it means you know.
This is true. This is my new best friend.
Well, and apparently you spend a lot of time with it too.
Well, yeah, I don't know how well it's going to work out for me after I lose it, but you know.
All right, it is time to vote.
Get the music back.
We have the music back. No, we'll start. Yeah, it's fine.
Honestly, we should just like line up.
If anyone has a hidden immunity idol and would like to play it, now would be the time to do so.
I guess I might as well play it. Except I'm not playing it for me, I'm playing it for Nick.
Playing it for Nick. All right. So, the rules of Survivor state that if a hidden immunity idol is played, votes cast against that person will not count. Melissa has played this on Nick. This is a hidden immunity idol played on Nick. Votes cast against Nick will not count.
Did Melissa just sacrifice her game?
First vote, Peter. Nick does not count. 1 vote, Peter. Peter. 2 votes, Peter. Melissa. 2 votes, Peter. 1 vote, Melissa. Melissa. 2 votes, Peter. 2 votes, Melissa. 1 vote left. The 17th person voted out of Survivor Apocalypse.
Good job, Melissa. That was great. I had no idea. That is
Hell of a play, wasn't expecting it. But unfortunately, Travis spoke.
Wow.
So Melissa, 19th person voted out. First thoughts?
I'm a little surprised by that one. I thought that our alliance going into this was going to keep to it. So that's why I didn't play the idol for me. I was assured, I guess, over way too much, I guess I would say, that it was going to be Nick. So that's why I played it for him. Did I have suspicion it was me? Of course I did. You always think it's going to be you. This one, all of the other ones I thought it was going to be me, except this one. And of course, this is the one where I went out. So it's unfortunate, but hey, I had fun. It's been good. And yeah.
So you and Nick seemed like a bit of a duo in this game. How did that start, and how did your relationship kind of unfold throughout the game?
Well, it really started when I found the idol with him and Jake. And we just formed that solid 3. And he kept his word, and I kept my word, and Jake at the time kept his word. And it just kind of formed where we were just trusting each other. And he never once went behind my back and stabbed me, so I knew I could trust him throughout this entire game. Allie was someone that I was always worried about. And that's why I didn't want to do the challenge. I just wanted to go straight to tribal to try to get her out. And unfortunately, everyone wanted to play in the competition, so that didn't work. So, I mean, it just like unfolded where like you were able to find someone that you trusted the entire time. And like you could put it like the JT Steven, forget what season that was, but they pretty much voted with each other all the way until the end. And I felt like that's how it was for us, except I didn't make it to the end.
Yeah. So how much did Jake getting unexpectedly booted affect your game, do you think?
Greatly, because I had a solid 3. And it just tore it apart where I'm like, I need another person, or I need 2 more people to like really get in with us. And I was really, really hoping to somehow get Melody in, you know, if she wasn't voted off. And then when we went to try to vote her out and she didn't, I'm like, okay, well, she's meant to stay. So I just tried to get her to stay, and she didn't vote me out this time. So it wasn't her.
So, it seems like for the past couple rounds, Peter has been used as like the decoy vote. And like every single round. Is that because people want him out because he's a threat, or does it just seem like he's an easy person to get people to vote for?
I mean, he is aligned with Kevin 100%, so I think whatever Kevin wants to do, he's going to do. I don't think that Peter is calling the shots. I think it's Allie and Kevin together.
If the game were to end right now, who would you vote for of the remaining players?
Right now? That's a good question, because I feel like every person, maybe not Kevin, has done something in this game. Like Melody dodged a lot of tribal councils, and Peter's dodged a lot of tribal councils, and Allie's been winning a lot of challenges. But like Allie also was voted out early on and then came back. So does someone consider that, you know, someone that's worthy of winning, you know, coming back, winning a challenge, and then dominating in the end? Maybe. So maybe Allie. I mean, Nick has been by my side, but I haven't seen him do anything that I haven't proposed to him or asked him, like, you know, like when I'm like, oh, who do you want to get out? It's like, well, who do you want to get out? And then I go about my plan. So him, I'm not sure. Melody's played a strong game, but I feel like she's been flying under the radar. Kevin hasn't done anything in my opinion. And Peter, he's just going with the flow. So I guess it'd just come down to probably Allie, if I had to choose someone.
Yeah. How do you think your strategy evolved from last year to this year? Did you change much about your game? Or like, did you not change anything?
I don't know. It's a good question because last year, I mean, I played a very strategic game, which is also what I did this year. And I think, I don't know, I don't think anything really changed. I think I just was trying to think more ahead or maybe more steps like, oh, well, if we do this, is this going to happen? And if that happens, what is this going to do? Versus last year where it was like, I had like my solid 6, then I had, you know, 5, and then there were 4. And then I feel like the final, like my 4 alliance, like we were pretty strong and we were all the way pretty much until the end when I was voted off. So that's what I was hoping this time was keep Nick Bachman, me, and Melody, and then try to get Allie and Kevin out if Peter went out for this one. So yeah, I regret playing my idol on Nick, but it's the way it goes.
Yeah. It seemed like once the merge hit, no one really looked for idols at all. Is that accurate? Like how much idol hunting was really happening?
There really wasn't much. I think this last one, people were actually trying to find idols, but no, they really weren't. And for me, like I wasn't really trying to find the idol because I've had it since like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock yesterday. Didn't tell anyone except obviously Nick and Jake. Eventually told Eric, and then I told Melody right at the end of this one.
All right. Well, you played a really good game. It's a shame to see you here.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing, Melissa.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Of the other pegs. But you can never place a plate that is larger than the other one on top of another. You always have to place smaller plates on top of larger plates.
Okay.
And you can only move one plate at a time.
With one plate at a time. Any questions?
You can't place a larger plate over smaller.
Never larger over smaller, only smaller over larger. You can only change one plate at a time. First person to move their stack of plates to any other peg in the same structure wins.
And it doesn't have to be one size bigger. It just has to be a bigger plate and then a smaller plate on top. Yes?
Yes.
As long as the bigger one doesn't go on top of the smaller one. The size difference doesn't matter.
Yeah. Survivors ready? Go.
You can't do that. It's one at a time.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I see.
Are they 6 million?
Possibly. Oh, sorry.
Guys, come on.
Oh, you can't put a larger one on a smaller one.
Oh, okay.
If at any time you need to reset, you can put all of your plates in the back in the same order on the very right peg. You can't do that.
Why am I messed up?
Feel free to reset if you need to.
This is harder than I thought it was going to be.
So yeah.
Oh, you can't do that?
Can't do that.
I was starting over.
Oh, gotcha.
You can't put the green there.
It has to be bigger than the one smaller, right?
Smaller on top of big ones. You can never place. You can never completely cover another plate.
Tony. Done.
Melody.
Oh wow.
Well done.
Yeah, Peter, you were like.
I know I got.
Peter, you were
You had the
so
right guy.
close.
There we go.
Yeah,
I had it. I know. I had a route going. See, I got a second.
Yeah, you had it, and I was like, oh, you
Keep going, you're in the right place.
Yeah. There was a couple of times I was like, he's got it, he's got it.
I felt it,
and then you just.
and then I just, yeah, and then I kind of got caught up.
All right, back at Tribal again after a very nerve-wracking and interesting Tribal last time.
Tumultuous.
Yeah. How'd you think of that challenge, Melody?
I really liked it. I felt like it was a little bit when I got into it.
It's a classic logic puzzle. It's actually called the Hanoi Tower. We don't really know why it's called that because it was actually invented in France. So, but yeah.
I like that game. I like that one.
Nick, last Tribal, you got an idol plate on you, but you weren't the main target of the votes.
That's something I did not see any of that shit coming. Like,
Did you even know you were getting an idol plate on you?
well, I did know she had it in all fairness, but I did not think she'd play it on me. I thought she was just going to use it in the last round and play it on herself. But like, she knew stuff I didn't, that maybe I was being targeted, but apparently she was being targeted, so that was quite a play. Respect.
Yeah, Melody, was this something you guys anticipated, the idol play, and did you play around it, or was it just kind of happenstance that it worked out the way it did?
Yeah, I mean, I thought idols were completely out of play until a couple minutes before the last idol ceremony, or the last final. But I still stuck with the original vote, but with that, knowing that was a possibility.
Yeah.
It is time to vote. Allie, you're first this time. Also, you can't vote for Melody. No more idols. Here are the votes. Nick. Nick. 2 votes, Nick. Kevin. 2 votes, Nick. 1 vote, Kevin. 20th person voted out of Survivor Podcast. Final four. You made it. Like basketball. You got one more challenge, one more tribal. And 3 of you will be going on to have a shot at winning the game. We'll take back immunity and join us out there to see what happens.
Oh, okay.
Nick Bachman, 20th person voted out. First thoughts?
I saw it coming this round. I knew I was out. Everyone was against me. So, but nothing against them. Everyone played a really good game, and I'm glad I made it this far. So.
Yeah. Did you make a final plea to try to get Allie out or Kevin out?
I did. I mean, the effort had to be made, but I knew as soon as Melissa was out, I was next.
Mm. What was your reaction when Melissa stood up and played the idol for you?
I knew she had the idol. We had like an alliance long term. Like we'd been holding it for a while. It was agreed. It was like shared. I was surprised that she played it on me because she knew something I didn't, that the crowd was turning against me. It turned out it was like a really good play by them. They were actually going for her. They didn't know she had the idol, but that just worked out for them. So I do feel bad that we held on to it to the very last round and then played it on the wrong person. That sucks. But.
Yeah. Walk me through the decision-making in the first vote of the merge when you and Jake kind of flipped to vote out Ben.
It was because, Jake was actually there as well. Let me collect my thoughts here. So Jake, Melissa, and I found the idol together, the one that was behind the shed. And we agreed, we had this 3-person alliance. We knew the tribes were gonna like shift up again. So we liked having that connection. We tried to keep it on the down low too, that we were working together. So we all knew we had an idol in play we could use. What was the question? Sorry.
I guess the question was why flip on Ben?
Flip on Ben just because Ben's whole crowd was turning against Melissa, and I couldn't confess to them that we had that alliance, but I knew that I wasn't going to vote against her, so it just made sense to go the other way and support the group vote against Ben. And also Ben was a huge threat.
Yeah.
So.
How much did surprisingly losing Jake that early affect your game?
That was the beginning of the end for both of us. Like, we really counted on Jake continuing for at least a few rounds. Like, if we even knew he was threatened, we would have played the idol on him and just let the alliance go public. But losing him, that was bad.
Yeah.
It was very unexpected.
Are you satisfied with how you played the game?
Extremely satisfied, yeah. I made it to, the last 5, and in the end, I think I was voted out because I was seen as a competitor, and I can't ask for more than that.
Yeah, it's true. Well, thanks for playing.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
This challenge is named "It's the End of the World."
Right, that's how you got
know it. Basically, the apocalypse is upon us. Not all of you will survive this challenge. You will be eliminated slowly throughout the course of this challenge, one by one, until you're down to 2. So first, you will balance beam with your bowl across to the water, come back. The first 3 people to fill up their bowl will move on to the axe throwing. And as soon as you do, you can move on to the axe throwing. And you have a shot at the axe throwing. Grab an axe, pick a target that you want to shoot at, and all you have to do is get the axe in the target. It doesn't have to be any bullseye or anything, it just needs to stick in the target and not fall down on the ground. The first 2 people to get their axes stuck in the target move on to the puzzle. Take the puzzle pieces out. There's a white paper that has a square on it that all the other pieces will fit together to make a square. You have to put it together, a square, out of the other manila pieces. Any questions? So, survivors ready? Go! Let's go!
Wow, this is a higher pressure. Wow.
Don't like the higher pressure.
does not see the strong suit, I think.
Obviously not.
Oh yeah, pretty big gap, both of them actually.
Peter and Mel are
Melody moves on. Allie moves on. Allie's good.
Come on, fellas.
Yeah. Behind the line. You only get one, Melody.
Oh, shit.
You move on. Allie moves on.
Even when I was closer, they had a party out here last night. So,
Yeah. Ooh, that was better.
Is there only two
No, they just have, there's only one part of the reason. All we have to do is get it stuck in one half.
Do you have to take turns? Like, let's say Kevin.
No, in the three. So there's only going to be 3 contestants, so we each have one.
hopefully it's not.
Oh, he keeps going.
All right, Kevin. You're hitting the right one, Kevin. Right one.
I do kind of feel bad.
Oh, he's got a good throw though.
It's just a square.
Oh. Kevin moves on.
Kevin moves on.
Yeah. The square. It makes a square.
You guys got it.
Yeah, because it's all the way over there.
Yeah. Yes.
Jeez. Yeah.
Dude, the pressure was way higher than it was over there. That's all I'm gonna say.
I turned it on. Probably fine now.
Yeah, exactly. Like area, right?
This is like the freaking Mayan puzzle where everybody's just like, you got you.
And I still was like time. I was still one goal.
No pressure.
Don't worry.
You got this.
You go. Dino.
You got this. Y'all are crushing it.
This thing is so long.
That's not correct.
What is correct then? She got exactly the square.
One more?
That's not right?
No.
No.
You guys oh,
Kevin.
Kevin wins.
Wins immunity and guarantees his place in the final 3.
I don't even know. Good job! Well done.
Final 4. You made it.
Woo!
This is the last tribal before 3 of you will face the jury and argue your case for why you should win. Any questions?
Yeah. So, final 4. All that's left now is facing the jury. So at this point, alliances, do they matter? Up to you, I guess, if you want to play honorably, if that's what your argument is going to be. So at this point, really what you're thinking is, how do I convince the jury to make that you win the game? How to make them think I played the best game? How to make them think I deserve it? Melody, do you think the vote tonight will help your chances at final tribal? Do you think you're going to get voted?
Yes.
Did you make a plea? Did you make a plea to
I put it out
people?
there, but I actually think the alliances are pretty set already.
Peter, do you feel confident going to the final 3 with Allie and Kevin?
Well, let's see what happens. You never know in this game. Let's get to the vote. I'll read the votes. First vote. Melody. Peter. One vote Melody. One vote Peter. Melody. 2 votes Melody. 1 vote Peter. 1 vote left. 21st person voted out. Survivor Foster. Unfortunately, Travis voted. We will now face the jury. But let me take immunity back because you don't want to be immune from these votes. All right.
So, Melody, the final person voted off. First thoughts?
It wasn't unexpected. I felt like the way the luck of the game came to an end, I just was on the outside of their alliance, so there wasn't much I could do besides win immunity, and I didn't do that. So, it was not unexpected.
Tell me about your strategy coming into the game and how you either stuck to it or adapted, and how did it evolve throughout the game?
So the only person I trusted 100% was Aditya. So I knew that we had each other's backs. Besides that, it was pretty fluid with my strategy of who I would partner with. Did try to keep, ties to certain individuals, but in the back of my mind, I knew that I couldn't fully trust everyone.
And now, when the Aditya vote happened, do you feel like that was like the start of the downfall, or do you think it kind of happened before that?
That's a good question. I feel like it was kind of taking a downward trend, but Aditya was the nail in the coffin. I think people knew that we were, playing close game together, and also he was a strong physical competitor. So once that happened, I knew that it was kind of coming to an end.
Mm-hmm. And so after the final challenge and Kevin wins immunity, Did you make a plea to any of the members to try to get off Peter or Allie?
Yeah, I did. I said, is there any way to change your mind? Previously, I talked to them about, specifically with Kevin and Peter, about what it meant to have Allie sitting there, because I think she is the strongest competitor. But obviously didn't ask Kevin to vote for Allie because they are strong alliances. But I did make my pitch, ultimately didn't want to push too hard and respect their boundaries. So I advocated for myself, but could only go so far.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about your game overall? How do you feel the way you played, the way it ended?
I think my game was good. I tried to take a middle ground approach of not really putting a target on my back. I think I played pretty average in the challenges. And I think that strategy worked, as well as having a good social game to make it towards the end. So there wasn't necessarily a target on my back.
All right. Of the final three, do you have any preferences, like initial, who you might vote for?
I'm going to vote for Allie because I think she played the best game.
Do you think anything Peter or Kevin could say would change that?
No.
All right. Thanks for playing, Melody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Woo!
All right. Welcome to Final Tribal Council. In this tribal, the jury, everyone that has been voted off before you, by you, etc., will now have the opportunity to approach you and ask you each a question, or as many of you as they want to talk to. And then once they're done, they'll sit back down when they're satisfied. And we'll go around until all the jury is done, and then the jury will get to vote on who they think should be the winner of Survivor Apocalypse. And they'll go up there and vote, and I'll record their votes. And then when we're done, announce the winner. So I believe that we'll start over here on the left, as always, with Nick Connor.
Hey guys. Hello. So, Survivor is a game with big moves. I think you kind of play the game pretty gradually, but you've got to make some big-time plays ultimately to win the award or the final result of Survivor. Can you each talk to what was the biggest move that you made in this game, and why do you believe that it changed the course of the game?
So, I knew that throughout the merge, after the merge, there was a big alliance after we got blindsided with the Ben vote. I knew that eventually it would have to crumble, and with the thanks of Eric going against Jake, I knew that that was my time to strike. So after we got Jake out, I knew that after that I had to get numbers, and then from there I brought up, after being tied with Eric, I brought up Eric's name, and that's how we got the biggest alliance to crumble.
I think for me, one of the biggest moves was when we took Melissa out by blindsiding. I noticed that she turned, because we were all talking Nick at first, and she turned really quick and was like, okay, Nick's fine. And it felt a little funky, so when Kevin had approached me of like, oh, well, would you want to do Melissa? And threw her name out there, I was like, okay, that sounds like something, she's got something going on with Nick. They're going to be really hard to break up later on. My one wild card in that scenario was Melody, because I thought I was afraid to tell her because I thought she was going to alert Melissa or Nick or somebody, and then whatever kind of thing they had was going to come into play. So I decided we weren't going to tell Melody anything. We were going to kind of keep it to just between me, Peter, and Kevin, and not tell anybody else, so that there was no chance of it slipping out of, oh, it's going to be Melissa, and that Nick really wasn't the target.
I would say that, at least in my mind, a big turning point was me, winning the redemption and getting back into it. After, before the redemption round, it was a little bit, at least, dicey for me. Obviously, I got voted out, but getting back in, I felt like I had a decent chance because I knew some alliances were there, and I could work with that. It didn't necessarily turn out the best, but some people from our alliance kind of fell off. But once we kind of knew that was happening, kind of just collectively just go with it. And then at that point, nobody knew who was going to do it, because all the votes were pretty much for that one person that we all knew was going to get out, and that kind of just things up and kind of went from there. Like, kind of just had to think for himself.
Awesome. So, Survivor's a very complicated game. There's relationships, there's challenges, there's all kinds of things that you have to do to get to the final. For each of you, what do you think is the most compelling reason you should support?
So the reason I think I should win the game is because I was not voted out. I got to play throughout the entire game. I got to experience every challenge, every trial, every jury I had survived. You can't say the same about these two. I had to lie to people to survive. I had to be undercover, and I had to lay low whenever I had to. And once I got the numbers, I knew I had to play aggressively. So that's how I got to the final three.
For me, being in orange at the very beginning, sitting through all of those tribals at the very beginning, and being able to squeak by and just find the right group right at the beginning. And then once I was voted out when we merged, fighting my ass off in that redemption challenge, getting absolutely soaked, coming back into a fresh new play. That was crazy, trying to figure out who was aligned. I had no idea. I had no idea what groups were really together, what were kind of on the outs, so I didn't understand the dynamic. So trying to be very quick on my feet, figuring out whose dynamics are who am I following, who am I going to try to get in with. So that was a really big deal for me, of just trying to just be very social with it. Not trying to necessarily make plays or anything right off the bat when I got back in, but just trying to be social, trying to talk to everybody, see what people were saying, who was not aligning, and then winning a lot of challenges that I hadn't expected. I didn't really think I'd be very good at the challenges when I first came in, and then after individual, like winning 3 of them, I really think that that's the reason I stayed in, is just trying my ass off, really.
I think at least before I got voted out, I was doing pretty well at the challenges overall. Our team was pretty, at least the teams I was on was pretty tight. I guess when I got voted out, things kind of changed. But when I got back in, I think the big thing was again the redemption challenge and me winning that. I fell down twice and still got back up and still ended up winning first place in that. So that was really big for me. And then again, a lot of people didn't believe me, but I was pretty honest, at least honest as I could for the majority of the time, or as much as I could be. And I think everyone thought I was scheming more, but I was just being completely honest, and I think that's what got me voted out the first time. But I kind of just stayed with being honest the whole time, and they kind of found out so
I think, adding on to what Travis said, a natural part of this game was some of the scheming. What betrayal were you a part of, or that you witnessed, stood out to you most, and do you think it was justified or not?
So the betrayal that I felt was the least justified was Ben going. I think that I didn't really see the end game to that, and it kind of made sense that after that move, following Adam going, that the start of that betrayal kind of crumbled, because when you're a big threat player and you eliminate the biggest threat, it's only a matter of time until you're looked after. I was glad to be part of that, and
I think for me, going back to Melissa's, I was in a little bit of a ladies' alliance, and I hated that I was the one breaking up the girls' alliance that we had. It made me feel like a ton of garbage, but I wasn't going to get to the final 3 most likely with it, unless we could keep all of us together, but most likely it would have been Nick and Melissa, and I didn't have great ties with Nick. Melissa's ties were decent, but again, I was on the outs of some of their talks, so the likelihood of me getting to the end there, so it was justified. It sucked, but justified.
Yeah, like Kevin was kind of saying, when Ben kind of got voted out, that definitely threw some things around, and we know that at least our alliance at the time was kind of getting chipped away at. We pretty much concluded that Adam was going to be the next vote, and we're pretty sure about that. So basically, we essentially just chose to vote him out. And I literally, again, like I was just honest with him. I was like, we're just voting you out. Sorry, nothing against it. And that was it. That was votes and he was out. But then that kind of set up like a new kind of dynamic for the whole group, and it kind of was the best for everyone moving forward, even though Adam, unfortunately had to go. He pretty much knew he was going to go, and if we decided to vote for somebody else, we probably still would have been out. But it just made things a little bit more complicated for people to maneuver if we all just decided to vote Adam out preemptively.
I do not have a question. Let me pull something from nowhere. Why do you think, we're gonna make something up. Why do you think you might not win? Like, why do you think like the other two people will be chosen over you?
So I think I might not win because I was definitely the most deceptive out of these two. I think my game was more complex and not as honest and straightforward. I didn't think I needed to win as many challenges as some people here because I thought I had the social game and the strategy to bypass it. The last challenge I thought was absolutely necessary because Melanie was an absolute beast, and I think if she had won, I would have been the person now.
I think for me, I came in kind of later, like that, not having dealt with all the challenges and all the tribals that Kevin did. So that would be something that some people might think it's negative, that, oh, you didn't have to deal with that chunk of time. I think it just made it a little bit more complicated for my game because I couldn't form those alliances that I thought I had going like at the very beginning, and like people that I thought I could align with, I had nothing. So I think that some people will be like, okay, you missed this whole chunk, that's a strike against you, what if you'd gone during that period? But I think, so yeah, but I feel like that was kind of something that I was able to turn, but definitely could be something to count against.
Yeah, I would say for me, probably just not competing in all the challenges and, kind of just being with the group at least, before the individual challenges.
So where do each of you guys think you went with the flow typically of tribal council votes, and where do you think you stood out and kind of led in a direction that you wanted?
So I think starting off with my game on the black bandana group, we won everything. That was hard, not just winning, but not being able to form alliances. I also noticed that some people in that group formed alliances without me. I could tell that they were moving forward without me. So at that point, I knew I had to keep winning. So there was nothing to throw, no challenge to throw there. After we got merged into the blue group, where I did, we got blindsided, and from there, my strategy was to lay low. And then I think that was my strategy, to kind of get as much information and see the alliances and social bonds throughout the game until we did the individual merge. From there, when we got blindsided again, I also laid low. After you got voted out, I knew that was my time to strike, so I gathered up numbers, I gathered up stragglers, and then from there it was just seeing who would win in challenges and who could get immunity.
I think for me, I was very hesitant to put names out first, because I feel like that can always come back and bite you in the butt if you're the person that puts somebody out there. It can put a target on your back. So for me, a lot of what I tried to do was not necessarily leading a movement, but if I saw a movement that I was like, okay, that movement's definitely not going to help my game, trying to find alternatives. Hey, what if we did this person instead? Or is this a better move for us? Or trying to pitch somebody that maybe was slightly more advantageous to me, might be less advantageous to somebody else. Like trying to keep Peter in. We were trying to vote out Peter for a long time, and I was like, we can't vote out Peter. He's fine, don't worry about him, it's okay. So that was for me, me just trying to kind of minimally undermine, try to go unnoticed the best that I could by doing small pieces, small moves to overall kind of get here.
Again, it was just being honest, and I think I kind of just stuck with being honest, and you know, at first it didn't work out. And I think once I got voted out the first time, I learned a little bit from that, and I don't think I talked with enough people. But then once I talked with enough people and people asked me questions, I would pretty much, for the most part, just tell them the truth. And I think a lot of times them not believing me ended up, you know, it was on them at that point. It was their decision to either trust me or not. But I was sticking to saying what I was doing the whole time. So.
I think it's in your eyes.
Yeah. Maybe.
Very nice on this person.
When was the most important time an ally came through for you? Did they share some information with you or share an idol or anything like that?
Okay. For me, there's a couple times, but I think one of the most important was I put a lot of faith, again, going back to my Girls Alliance, I put a lot of faith in Melody in our Nick vote, and I felt kind of garbage about it when we voted out Melissa, but she was like, you know what, we're good. I'll vote out Nick. And she really came through on that, and if she'd kind of deviated, it could have gone horribly wrong, but she didn't. She really stuck with the plan, and I was so proud, and I felt awful for not telling her about Melissa, but I could kind of tell that she was really with us at that point, and that was awesome. Much appreciated, Melody. Thank you.
The time an ally came with that really changed the game for me was when Avery came through the Jake vote. I did not expect that at all because I knew they had a solid bond, and I really thought that they could run the game if it wasn't for that. I tried to gather up as much people as I could, and we managed to flip it. So that's probably the best tip I got from an ally.
It was tough, picking people to vote, but for the most part, I think these guys helped me out. these two guys. Once we had I got back in and had the merge, I think pretty much knew the whole time that these guys were on my side, so kind of stuck with that.
So out of everyone sitting up here, if you can't vote for yourself, who should vote?
I would vote for Allie simply because she won challenges. She kept a great social circle, and I think her strategic mind worked really well with mine. Whenever we had an idea, we built on top of each other. Like, it was my idea to get you out in that vote, but I wanted Melanie to vote with us. And then she said, we don't even need Melanie. So, right, Melody. So we stayed with the plan to vote Nick, the decoy, and that's, I think, how we got you to use the idol on him. So that's why I think Allie would be a great winner.
I think that Kevin deserves to win. This sounds really partial, I'm sorry guys, but I just know that he tried he was just working so hard, and he was pulling moves, and he was like trying to feed me information, I was feeding him information, so without him, there's no way that I would be up here, like, it wouldn't have happened. So I definitely think that he just worked so hard with it, and just put a lot of effort into trying to get information and trying to play right moves at the right time.
It's really tough. Kevin did a really good job, and Allie did too. I think just by hair, I would go with Allie, just because I think she's just kind of, she talked with a lot of different people and kind of moved around. I didn't 100% know what, or at least towards the end, I didn't 100% know what Kevin was thinking, but I think Allie was a little more straightforward, at least with me, and I think played the game pretty well. And then she was really good at the challenges.
Which challenge do you really think best showed that you can
I think it would have to be the last challenge for me. I think that showed that I was not only decently a good physical player, but I never gave up. I kept going because I knew that I had two people depending on me.
I think for me it was the like plague one where we had to run back and forth from the board, because that was not only mental, you're having to remember shit, you're also having to run back and forth a million times. So it's, I mean, I feel like that shows both like a mental and physical strength, kind of very well rounded. It was a little bit of a like cinch win as well, because I feel like I was starting to get noticed, and I feel like I definitely could have been an alternate in that vote if things hadn't gone according to plan. So I think that one was a big one. It was also a big win because that was the one that we wanted to get Dia out on. And if he had won, and he was right up behind me, if he had won, it would have changed our vote completely. So I think that one was my biggest survivor win. Just we were able to get the right win at the right time. Yeah. Plus, it was a really tough challenge.
It was definitely the redemption challenge for me. I felt
Truly.
being voted out and then thinking that you're done, and then realizing there's a redemption challenge, and kind of at least mentally getting out of the game, and then realizing, oh, you're back, and then falling down twice, and then still getting back up and winning.
Aside from yourself, and like right after the merge, who did you envision being the other two people sitting next to you?
For me, I think it was definitely you, Aditya, and I would have really liked to see Emily there. I knew she wasn't after the merge, so I think probably my pick would have been Peter. I knew you were a great physical threat, but I also think that strategically, I think I kind of made more moves. I could not know all your moves, so I'm not saying you didn't have any, but I think if I managed to get to the end over you, with you having a big alliance and a big physical threat,
Awesome.
I think that would have been a good shot to win.
I'm sorry, can you repeat just like the first part?
So aside from yourself.
Oh, right. Who's gonna be up here? Okay, great. So, for me, so when I got back in, we had to do the entry interview. Like when you come back in, the confessional, whatever. And I actually said that my idea of Final Three was Kevin and Peter. I felt like Peter and I were in really similar situations, so we could probably be pretty comparable. And to be honest, I didn't realize Kevin's game was so complex when I said that originally. But I felt like I was maybe not as good at making big moves, but I felt like I was a little bit better at being more social. So when it got to the end, it did come down to, okay, well, I feel like I tried to kind of keep peace as best as I could, or at least be social with people, so that it wasn't like everybody hated my guts when I got up here. So I was really lucky and got my ideal Final Three.
It's really hard to tell. I think I always thought Ben was going to go pretty far, to be honest. I think once people realized it, that's why he got out. Maybe not both of you, but Eric and Melissa, I definitely could see getting to the finals for sure. You guys are just good at playing the game.
Melissa. Sorry. That helped you throughout the
I would have to say Ben. He gave me a lot of info about the dynamics of the Orange tribe, and once I got merged with other tribes, I knew that there were alliances without me. I knew I pretty much couldn't say certain names because just people would target you immediately. From there, after he got picked off at the start of the merge, that also gave me a tip of who to trust and who not to trust.
I think for me, it was probably Melissa. She was pretty solid from the very beginning. She was like, okay, you know, let's kind of keep the girls together as far as we can. And then when I came back in, her and Emily were very quick to be like, okay, do you want to come join us? Tony! So that was really big. Yeah, that was super helpful with helping me get reintegrated. I think so. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, once the merge and the individual challenges, definitely Ben. He knew a lot what was going on. I think already being still being in the game at that point. Then once he got voted out, I was really surprised at Kevin and how much he knew and was playing the game.
All right, congratulations, guys.
Thanks, man.
I'm really proud of you guys for making it this far, for sticking together, and of course for avenging me. So,
Survivor, outwit, outplay, outlast. Give me one example of
My outwit would have to be me and Allie's plan to get Melissa out. Outplay would have to be us kind of strong arming. Once we got the numbers with Nick and Melanie, we kind of knew that it was sealed at that point. Outlast, I started at the beginning, I'm here at the end. Survived every jury, so those are my three.
Okay. My outlast would be surviving through Orange, through its endless tribals. That was awful, and right at the beginning, so none of us had like good ties. That was pretty brutal. So being able to make it through that until we changed teams was a pretty solid outlast moment. I think outwit, it's gonna have to be keeping Melody out of that play with Melissa. I felt like that was a decently smart move of just trying to make sure things were kept tight-lipped. And then, did I say that was the outwit one? Sorry. I think outplay was just challenges, just trying to get as the littlest bit of like advantage I could get, like turning the blocks on their sides because they rub together, so they're not smooth, so they would stick better because they were grainy. So holding all those friggin' blocks together, I thought that maybe just that little bit of advantage would just be enough to just kind of push me through, see how long I could go, and just, yeah.
Outlast was a lot of the tribals. My name was pretty much always on the board, at least to some extent. So it was just kind of almost every tribal. Outwit. It's kind of the Adam thing, but they're kind of straightforward, and I think it was pretty. It was very strategic what we did. I think it just set us up for the future. And then outplay. Probably still the redemption challenge. I always just go back to it.
If this was a normal tribal council, how would you guys vote and why?
Like if we had to vote one of us out?
I would definitely,
there's nothing at this point,
sadly have to vote Allie out. I think she played a great game. Probably the most
even to mine. We just did a lot of, we worked together very closely. We each wouldn't have made it here without each other. So I think to get that extra push over the edge, I would have to vote her out.
I'd vote out Kevin. Because we worked really, really closely together, and I tried my damnedest to make sure his vote or his name was never out there, because so we could work together. I know his brain a little bit. It makes it a little easier. I can usually read him, so that helps when you're trying to pick people you're going to vote for or try to figure out what somebody's plan is. But that also means that our game started to become very similar at the end, trying to work together through things. So I would say if it came to like threat level, Kevin's a pretty solid threat.
It's hard to say. Since we were all pretty close, I wasn't really thinking of really considering it pretty much ever. But from what I saw, I don't think Allie's name got thrown out there like at all, like ever. So I don't remember her getting. At least from the votes I was part of, her name was never brought up ever. So maybe playing that into account probably would have been the better move.
So who was your vote? That was Allie?
Yeah, Allie, yes.
All right. Well, with that, it wraps up the jury's questioning. And it is time to vote on who you think should win Survivor Apocalypse. So, we'll start with Travis and work our way around.
Did you put the music?
We were going to put the music on. I gotta get over there. And you three just sit and sweat it out. Is there anything you want to say to the camera? You can.
May the best person win.
Oh, I started writing my own name.
You can. If there's anything you want to say to the camera, feel free.
Enjoy my ass.
Okay.
Wait, do I say like why? Not my
Fascinating.
Yeah. Is this Allie with a Y or an I?
With a Y.
A-L-L-Y.
Oh,
So Jake, you're really good at this, but if there's anything you want to say, when you hold it up to the camera, feel free.
I think how to word this. Even though you stabbed me, that was a phenomenal game. Is that Chris?
Yeah.
The one against Adam, or no, the one against Ben. No, who the hell was it? I forget the one that was.
The one where you got voted off was pretty good.
Oh, it was.
The one where you gave a really cocky one and then you got
Aaron.
booted.
Yeah,
that one.
Do I say why?
If you want.
I was gonna say if you want anything you want to say to the camera when you hold it up.
Allie definitely deserves this. She has like an anime arc. She came back into the game, won a bunch of the individual challenges, played the social game way better than I thought she was playing it at all. So yeah, easy choice.
It's just not a very outspoken.
Yeah. But I guess I would agree with that. If there's anything you want to say to the camera when you hold it up, feel free.
I have a feeling you're here because of me, but you deserve to win.
Aww.
Second time voting for you.
Anything you want to say? Feel free.
Second time voting for you. Good luck. Hopefully you get the win.
Got by the copyright. If there's anything you want to say to the camera when you hold it up, feel free.
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just, it makes no sense. So.
Anything you want to say to the camera, feel free.
Great job, Allie. Hoping you win.
Just anything you want to say to the camera, feel free.
Came to the game, the mindset of a champion. Came back from the grave. Deserved this.
Anything you want to say to the camera, feel free.
The reason I picked him is because I like that he won, or he got to the top 3 with honesty instead of deception. I think that's admirable.
I'll read the votes. First vote, Allie. Second vote, Allie. 2 votes, Allie. Third vote, Allie. 3 votes, Allie. Allie. 4 votes, Allie.
Yeah, there's like. Yeah.
Kevin. 4 votes, Allie. 1 vote, Kevin. Peter.
Yes! Yes! That's what I'm talking about.
4 votes, Allie. 1 vote, Kevin. 1 vote, Peter.
Well intention.
Winner of Survivor Apocalypse, Allie. 5 votes, that's enough.
Where are the other votes? Can you see the other votes?
They're all for Allie.
Oh, they are? Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Oh.
Yeah! I got the one!
She got 5, it's a majority.
That was it. That was it.
Speech.
Speech?
Speech.
Well, all I know is you guys are fantastic. I had such a blast. I literally thought that I was going to get voted out in the first vote. So, this was like ridiculously unexpected. Literally, I would not have been able to get here without Kevin and Peter. Like, it never would have happened. So yeah, I'm just really glad. So thank you all. And thanks for everybody who played. Everybody who set up, you guys did a freaking amazing job. It was so cool. So cool. And now I'm going to take like an 8-hour long shower.
Good answer.
Well, that ends Survivor Apocalypse. Hope you all had fun. Yeah.
Let's give it up one more time for the final 3. Woo!